Hey guys, I want to give you a great speaking activity to get your students really involved and engaged in talking with each other, right? And that's with asking each other questions. And I mean real questions, not just write a question using the relative clause which, blah, 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 right? They always think of, and then I'll ask them questions. Is that real? No, I just made it up. Well, okay. Now, this activity will get your students to ask real questions and get real engagement, hopefully. There are always the exceptions, but generally, the students really get into this and they really like it. It's for, I'd say, a blue belt level, which is an intermediate, an upper pre intermediate, maybe like a B1, B2 level or above, right? So maybe an A1. Very beginners might struggle with this because they should know how to ask basic questions. So this, I call it truth, truth, lie. And it's basically the point of it. The whole class is building towards you will offer two truths about yourself and one lie about yourself. And they should all kind of sound like they're true. And the objective is for their partner or for the other students to guess which one is the lie. And they're going to do this by asking questions, answering the questions, telling lies, and making up stories, and really get some engagement and involvement here. We're going to try that. So first, there's a worksheet that's attached to this, and we're just going to follow right down the worksheet. And you see the first section is to write 3 facts about themselves. And I wrote here, I have 2 sisters is a bad example because it's kind of too obvious. They're going to know if the other ones have sisters, especially if they've studied together for any amount of time, right? So maybe a good example, I've been to 7 different countries. I have never been outside of this country. I watch TV 13 hours a day or whatever, right? Any sort of creative answers. And they'll usually struggle the most with the lie. So keep that in mind. I also, of course, recommend you doing your own, right? 2 truths and 1 lie about yourself so you can give them an example. And you see mine down here. And part 1 here is to ask questions based on a fact. And these 5 facts are my 5 facts, and you can create your own. When you do your own, just do 3. I gave 5 for the examples, right? So I have 1, 2, 3, 3 correct and 2 incorrect, 2 lies. And so essentially, I just have them think of a question to find out if each of these is a true statement or a lie. What would you ask to find out the truth, right? I've been to 11 different countries and I've lived in 3. What's a logical question that you could get them to ask to find out if this was the truth? What was it like there? What did you see? Things like that, all to investigate whether I'm lying or not, right? Any questions you could ask me or the students ask the speaker to find out if it's true. And then don't forget to mention this. I didn't mention this to some classes and it didn't go well. So the speaker, the person who's giving their facts, needs to think of lies to keep this going. If the class guesses which one is the lie right away, and don't just say, yeah, I've had that, and then it just kind of deflates the whole thing, right? So have them ask why. I think it's a lie that you've been to North Korea. Why? Right? And then that gets more interaction. For big classes, like 30 students, you might want to break it up into groups of 10 or 12 students. And then if there are several teachers, you could each go to a different group. If you're in a smaller class, like an academy, 6, 8, 10, 12 students, then you can do this all as a class, and it's fantastic. Maybe even do it as a class, as an entire class. You'd have to judge how your classes go. you may, depending on the level of your class, you may need to go over question form, right? Like question word, who, what, where, why, and then auxiliary verb, and then the subject, and then the verb, right? Where did you stay, right? So you might want to go over question form depending on how well they ask questions, right? And it's a really fun activity. It's a really engaging activity. Follow the worksheet that I have or create your own based on this with your facts. Again, share your example before the class, before they share theirs. So that way they have kind of a general idea of how it's going to go. And they're not really they're not as embarrassed because nobody has to go first because you already did it. So, and try to make them real and fun facts too. Okay, enjoy this, do it, and let me know how it goes. I'll see you in the next one.